I have two brief questions I'd like to ask, if I may.
Hi, welcome to Left Foot Media. My name is Brendan Malone and you're watching The Daily Question. Today's question of the day: will Star Wars Celebration 2019 be an absolute disaster? Now, the reason I'm asking that question is because next April in Chicago, the annual Star Wars Celebration event is going to be happening again. This is the event where every year people who love Star Wars get together with the Star Wars creatives and executives and everyone else, and they celebrate the franchise. However, with the events that have transpired over the last 12 months or so with the franchise, I think that this event in 2019 could be a big sea change moment for the franchise. I think it's going to be a big event either way. It's going to set some things in stone, or like in a bad way, or set some things in stone and be a good positive new direction for the franchise. Either way, I think it's going to have a big impact. I think a lot of this will depend on whether or not Kathleen Kennedy is still around. Basically, if she is still there and she is still heading things at Lucasfilm and she's sort of the driving force, she is the focal point of the franchise at Celebration 2019, I think there's going to be some issues. Basically, with what happened with The Last Jedi, and then now we've had Solo, which has been a flop financially for them, there's some pretty troubled and turmoiled seas that the franchise is currently sailing through. And everyone knows, apart from those sort of few diehards who don't want to accept there's a problem, or those who are sort of willingly wishing the problem away, everyone who looks at this knows that there is a problem here. There's some big issues here, and they need to be confronted. Now, Celebration 2019, if Kathleen Kennedy rocks out on stage and just basically acts like there is no problem, I can't see that doing anything other than actually cementing these issues and making them even worse. Effectively just cleaving the fan base into sort of almost once and for all, just dividing. The divide is there now, but if I think 2019 has the potential, the celebration, to actually set that divide in concrete and really set it in stone. There's a really big risk that this will be nothing more than one big echo chamber if Kathleen Kennedy is still there. A group of people who are getting together and who are trying to desperately convince each other that anyone who's not part of their group is just a racist or a sexist, and they don't understand how beautiful and wonderful and great everything is with the franchise. And I can't really see them not wanting to talk about the problems. I mean, they could try and pretend the problems are not there and just say nothing about them. You know, pull a Basil Fawlty, don't mention the war. I think we'll get away with it if we don't mention the war. But my instinct is that they're not going to want to do that. I think that those people who have committed themselves to this social justice agenda that now is very much a part of the franchise, I don't see them as people who are going to want to just sort of sit there and say nothing. When they're with a big group of people in a potential echo chamber, they're going to want to do, I think, what SJWs tend to want to do in these situations. They are going to want to crow about their supposed successes. They are going to want to ridicule their enemies. They're going to want to jump up in front of the crowd and say, hey, you know, those sexists and those racists, they told us that Star Wars was dead, but look at this, look at, I see everyone in this room, it's awesome. Who wants to give me a holler, you know? And they're going to want to do stuff like that. I can't see them sort of just wanting to silently say nothing about it. They're going to want to try and dominantly sort of claim some victory, some high moral ground here. So it will all depend on whether or not Kathleen Kennedy's there, but I think either way, the celebration, Star Wars Celebration 2019, is going to be a milestone moment for the franchise. If Kathleen Kennedy is gone, and the rumour mill at the moment is that she is effectively, she's been resigned. She's been asked to leave. She's sort of playing out her time, and then she will sort of usher herself off and away from Star Wars at some point in the coming months. Now, if that happens, and Disney have appointed someone new, then I think there's real potential for the 2019 celebration to actually be effectively a quiet recognition that there were problems, but also a very positive looking forward, and effectively, without dwelling on it too much, because I think that would be a disaster. If either side is crowing, so you've got one side, say, who was going, yeah, we told you that Kathleen Kennedy had to go, and it's good riddance, you know, I'm glad they got rid of her. If there's a group of people doing that, that will be disastrous. If there's a group of people on the other side who are saying, oh, Kathleen was so great, and these evil people, they've destroyed the franchise, and they've victimised this innocent woman, these oppressive, patriarchal sexists, they just can't help themselves when they see women in power. If they're doing that, then that'll be just as divisive. So effectively, there's almost got to be like an amnesty and a truce called, where the fans get together and say, hey, look, this is about the future of Star Wars, this is positive, we're looking forward, we've got a new creative team, we've got some ideas on the boil that you're going to love. You know, we're all fans, we're all in this together, we love the franchise with a passion, we love this mythology, let's get this train back on track and let's just focus on what the future holds. If that's sort of the central theme of this event, then that'll be a good and positive thing, as long as they then sort of don't immediately follow that up with a big announcement about Lando Calrissian, the trilogy, all the capes you've ever wanted to see. If they stay focused and they stay positive and the whole thing is on, hey, let's unite and let's go forward and let's make the mythology great again, then I think the celebration will be a milestone event for the franchise in a good and positive way. Either way, this, I think, is going to be a milestone. I think this celebration, this very, very public outing, where I think probably more so than ever before, there will be a lot more scrutiny from the fan base and from the media alike, I think, on the franchise because of what's happened over the last few months. I think either way, there's going to be a milestone moment here. As per usual, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you like the content I'm creating and you'd like to see more of it, then please support me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. There's a link in the description below and a link on screen at the end of this video. That's right, I can hear my theme music too. I'll see you tomorrow on The Daily Question.